Welcome back to Curse, Code, and Crown, a live play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast featuring a fully original world and campaign. I am the wizard Cronox, observer of time. Curse, Code, and Crown features our regular voiceover artists and improvisers, Laura Elizabeth as the Orcountant Eta, Tyler Hewitt as Makka Deathcap, and Ryan LaPlante as Duncan Danno, alongside our dungeon master, the incredible Tom McGee. So get ready for an adventure including thrills, chills, and hope for a brighter tomorrow. It's time for Curse, Code, and Crown!
The election bells are ringing, and having successfully foiled a wedding, taught a young politician with tremendously misguided views about what the purpose of relationships are, a lesson in treating people with respect and as self-actualized creatures rather than means to an end. Having pissed off Karen so much that she reverted to her familiar form, abandoning the armor of Solaris. Having made the career of a chef, a decorator, and having given a blissed out priest something cool to talk about, the election bells are ringing. Jaden has just announced that he will not, that he thinks everyone should vote for Richard, which is cool, but he still wins the election because the voters had made their minds up before his impassioned speech. And even though that was quite a thing, they still Richard's a considerably different politician. That said, upon hearing the news, which was tallied up and delivered incredibly quickly, because this is a fantasy realm where votes can be counted quickly and efficiently, Jaden won. However, he refuses to accept the nomination, and as a result, as first runner-up, Richard the Grey is made president of Sprangbrekh. Duncan, you're understandably a bit agitated during all of this, and wanting to get down into the mines to bring the armor, I think, just around with you in the hopes that Gwendolyn will just fall into it, or that you can catch her like a butterfly in a net on an Animal Crossing island.
Yeah, honestly, because he's she'll fall in or Karen will fall in. If Karen falls in, he can kill Karen. And if he gets the princess, win.
Unfortunately, the three of you have been prevented from entering the mines or, quite frankly, from leaving the general vicinity, as in order to create this incredibly fast voting system, everything shuts down in Sprangbrekh for an hour as all the votes are cast and counted. And as a result, you are pretty much stuck waiting at Richard the Grey's campaign office, because it was the only place you really had to go, unless you want to hang out at the temple. But I imagine none of you would be too keen to continue to hang out with people. Where do you think you would go? Would you go back to Richard's?
Well, we did watch a number of people conspicuously leave. Is that something that we probably want to follow up on?
So, upon checking in with security, you were somewhat dismayed to find that in all the confusion and the pre-election kind of pre-lockdown situation, the conspirators have fled Sprangbrekh to the surface.
Whoa, that's a big move for Sprangbrekkers.
It's a very big move for Sprangbrekkers, particularly given the travel experiences you've heard from Richard. This is a truly desperate. This is a I didn't kill my wife, I don't care, fall backward in the hopes that you survive. Most dwarves have never of this particular society have never left the Down Under. So truly a bold move, and part of the reason they were able to escape was it's so uncommon that no one was really looking out for it. So they basically got out right before the lockdown and have dispersed. That said, Ita, you did manage to get a pretty good look at them. And I think with a little bit of investigation on your part, you've kind of got people confirm the descriptions, give you names. I'm not going to name all of them because why the fuck bother? But you have enough information to pursue them as leads when you're back topside. Cool. And given that you've kind of hitched your cause to that of Duncan and Makka, it would make sense that you would basically travel with them in the hopes of finding this. Also, Duncan, as someone working actively to create like justice in the world, a bunch of weird mid-level conspirators who are part of something that is clearly further reaching than this is no bueno. So
he's not even crazy about the word empire. These are all problems for him. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So ultimately, I think it's frustrating, but it is kind of one of those like, and we can play out the scene if you want, but I also feel like we can just kind of storybook it.
No, I think Ida has a realization that like, oh, this is not going to be solved quickly. This is.
Yeah,
also,
I think
she's not going to run outside and chase them down.
No,
and that's
for sure.
And do you know what I mean? Like, it's
and
okay.
Also there's also the additional concern of you don't know who set you up in the Empire, so it's not like you can go home. So your best bet to kind of suss this out, particularly given that Duncan's kind of like wants to sort it out as well, is to stick with these guys. So I think there's kind of a quick, probably over the span of a little bit of time, a conversation about this. But you'd already kind of decided to party up with them. And I think Duncan and Makka having someone with the knowledge of the world that Ida does, even though it's limited and somewhat academic, is nice because, frankly, neither of you really know that much about Gren.
Yeah, I was going to say, thus far, Makka has been our expert, so this is a definite improvement.
Yeah, like not by much, but a little bit. Like,
I think if that's where we're at with that, which makes sense, I think Duncan would be smashing his Necrotis helmet. That motherfucker's gone. He'll put that in a goddamn fire, and then he would probably trade outfits back, like do a quick let's be ourselves again, so Ita can be dressed as Ita and Duncan can be dressed as Duncan. And then I think if we go to Richard, because we can give Richard the information of what we know about the conspiracy and who left, and we can be like, hey, could you let us into the mines, please? Like, give me an exception to this hour.
Unfortunately, he can't because he isn't president yet. So the hour is when they're doing the actual voting and casting of the votes. As soon as he becomes president, things start to change, which is where our story picks back up.
Right.
So
Duncan's standing toe tapping outside a door with his arms crossed.
So the bells stop abruptly. And
you mean they've been going for like an hour?
Yeah, it's voting
Jesus.
time. They're the voting bells.
That's a lot.
Jeez.
Look, they want you to vote. And they can't tweet about it, and they can't get celebrity endorsements, and they can't play Among Us to like raise awareness. All they can do is ring these bells so much. So the bells stop, and the famed election approval symbols begin. And with a cacophonous clash of symbols throughout town, the new president has been announced. It is Jaden. There's an awkward moment where Richard is kind of standing there and Jaden is looking around confused. He's like, oh, you're refuse. Oh, I've got to work on Jaden. Oh, if I can't love myself, how the hell am I going to love anybody else? So following sort of that bit of awkwardness, sure enough, Richard the Grey is elected. Now, celebration breaks out, it being Sprangbrekh and all. Which, I mean, admittedly, at this point, it's like it seems like every there's an excuse every night. It's kind of like a purely like online retailer finding excuses for sales, where it's like, oh, it's wind day. There's a wind. Here's 50% off stuff you don't need.
All the bars take down banners that say happy Thursday and put up identical banners that say happy election night. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. They rename all the drinks slightly, but the specials are the same. So there's sort of huge cacophony. That said, the people who do run things are slowly reopening stuff, but it's going to take a little bit to kind of get everything back up and running. Also because everyone in the mines also had to vote. There were stations set up throughout the mines, but it means that it's not like they just push a button and all the doors open again. It's like everyone is slowly making their way back to wherever they need to be to kick things off, but in the leisurely pace of people enjoying, it's like Scrooge's fucking clerks closing down on Christmas Eve. Like those little rats, because the Muppet version is really the only version of that story in my head.
Version, yep.
Are like they're closing. They're like they're doing the work, but like they're also having fun. They're singing a song, and that's kind of what's going on. People are slowly reopening stuff, but it's not happening at the speed that Duncan, you desperately need it to. So instead, the three of you are invited to the president's office with Richard the Grey. Who is still kind of in shock that this all worked out. You see him like high five Deptrote as he walks by because he spread the rumors quite effectively, and he is over the moon about getting to finally access these fucking papers. And he says, I understand you have a business to attend to down in the mines. But as they continue to open everything back up, I was hoping I could enlist the help of your orc accountant friend here with a brilliant mind to help me sort through all these papers in the meantime.
How long will it take for the mine to open up?
Well, you got about half an hour, but then I'll be able to teleport you right the fuck down there.
Oh, yeah, all right. All three of us will help you. Let's look at papers. Whatever makes the time go.
Great.
And he looks
And
like the tiki.
I will like take the reins and like tell people like how we're organizing everything and how to file everything so that I can review.
Duncan looks to the tiki bar just outside the door with its like slogan-y drinks. And he's like, all right, we'll get a round of Democracitas in here.
That's very good. The server's like, Democracitas? And someone's like, oh, they were Thursday Ritas yesterday. Oh, right, the Thursday Ritas. Yeah, we can make a round of those. That's fine. They just like take out little Thursday banners and put in election banners. They all still say congratulations, Jaden. But like honestly, what are you gonna do?
Duncan looks at his and goes, he made great strides as a man today. Worth it.
You're enjoying your drinks and working. It is that uncomfortable like you've got an important meeting in an hour, but you don't have anything to do till then. So you're just like awkwardly, kind of manically trying to fill the space. The good news is though, that Ida, if there's one thing she knows, it is filing systems. Ida, can you please roll me an investigation check?
Oh yeah.
Which I believe is what we've established as kind of your library check.
It's a 24.
Jesus. From the way you're looking at that dice, I thought you somehow pooched it. And I was like, I didn't know that was possible with your stats. And I was like, oh, this is really going to fuck the narrative. But it's good. It all worked out for the best. Okay, so with the 24, you are able to fairly efficiently organize the team and the people looking. And basically, with Richard's help, he kind of explains that he knows that the gray, and Makka, I think this would also appeal to you less in an organizational way and more just trying to understand the gray more. And I think it's perhaps more of a conversation between him and you, with Ida kind of listening and using the information that in a weird way, Makka, I feel like you're teasing out of him just by asking the questions you would have. But it becomes fairly clear that there is a link between the gray and the production of the mines themselves. Ida, this actually tracks with the records you've looked at back in the Empire, where production was, for a long time, Sprangbrekh was comparative to other down under societies. We talked a bit like ages ago about sort of the Athens not being attacked by sea raiders effect, where by being inland, it dodged this big hit and as a result got like a major one up on all of its rival city-states. No one has been able to ascertain how that happened for Sprangbrekh until kind of now. There was a definite spike in productivity, and it would seem, even though they have no memory of when the Grey began, that to your mind, what they're describing and what you're starting to see in records is when the Grey began, production skyrocketed. The quality, right, the demand, everything shot up. And that's when Sprangbrekh became kind of the leading nation amongst the dwarf states. So he's convinced that there's something to do with the mining processes themselves that is causing the Grey. And knowing that, you start to kind of target those sorts of documents. And as a result, are able to determine that there is, in fact, a kill switch to all production in the mines. It's amidst the sort of things that get passed on from president to president. They're sort of a talisman of office that is in a small kind of secured box in President Nagata's desk. Pardon me, I need to sneeze. And we're back. It's much like if you've ever seen those stupid mayoral like seals of office.
Yes.
They're kind of like they look like something Dracula would wear in like a bad 1940s movie.
Yeah.
Or an amazing one. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a film critic. But it also looks wildly impractical and like the kind of thing you would wear to your inauguration and then maybe never again.
Yeah.
But similar to the runic work you've seen elsewhere in the mines, it would seem that by kind of twisting this talisman in a certain way, in an emergency, it can kill all production to the mines.
Okay.
Is
there any indication, like, if that's destructive in any way, or is it?
It's from what you're reading, it's literally just described as a way to cease all production.
Okay.
It isn't. There's no mention of the gray. There's no mention of anything else. It's literally just if you need to, the president can basically trigger a chain reaction that will freeze all operations in the mines.
Versus like imploding the mine.
Yeah. And it's not like Sprangbrekh will like fall through, and it's not like a Resident Evil like Umbrella needs to blow up the lab, so there's just a bunch of kill switches. No, it's literally like in movies when people are like stop the presses, or like on an assembly line, there's the kill button that just freezes everything in motion. Yeah. Explaining that, Richard is nodding and smiling, like just pretty thrilled about this. And he says, "This might be exactly what we need to buy time to figure out what exactly is killing us all." And as he's mentioning this, the presidential office is beginning to fill up a bit. It would seem a lot of his supporters are starting to return. People who had kind of given up the cause. And he's generally pretty excited about this. And there's just like, Duncan, you can see this is about to get out of hand. Like you can taste the party atmosphere beginning again. And generally speaking, you're starting to get a bit antsy. So people are starting to spill in, and Richard says, "Uh-oh, looks like all the little parasites are coming back to get a ride to the top with old Tricky Dick. Well, I think it's best that we take care of this now and get you all down there to sort out your problems. I hope you find that Karen. She seems despicable." And he turns to you, Ida, and he says, "You have saved not just me, but perhaps an entire society with your organizational talents. If you don't find a place for yourself out there in the wide world, know you're always welcome in Sprangbrekh. Could always use a head clerk of filing."
That is excellent to know, since I may be a fugitive from my own society. I do not know yet.
Sounds like quite a story for a different episode. All right. Let's shut these mines down and send you on your way. So he turns the talisman in a number of ways. And after a few twists, it actually clicks together. The runes begin to glow, and sort of the stone in the center goes from green to red. And the entire fortress rumbles a little bit, not in like an alarming, like it's going to collapse way, but in the way that a bunch of moving pieces stopping causes things to shudder. And he pushes a sort of a button next to like a little kind of voice, like stone, basically like a stone hole with a grate over it. That seems to be kind of an announcement intercom piece. It says, "Don't worry, everyone. We're just going to do some routine maintenance." And then he pushes the button, and he realizes that because he turned the power off, nothing's going through. And he goes, "Oh, tits, I did this in the wrong order." All right. Well, thank you again. Ida, Richard grants you 1 point of inspiration for helping him solve the mystery of how to delay the gray long enough to properly study it and possibly cure it.
I do feel inspired to continue.
And he says, "Okay, well, it would seem that if people are coming here, it means everything's back to normal. So let's get you to the teleporter pad. Come on." And he leads you kind of through the president's office back to a sort of a back room with a large pad on the ground. The pads are run through not using the sort of energy that's been lighting everything, but rather through runes. So it's still operational despite the power being shut down. You do note, though, that it is dark now. Like, people are like rapidly lighting torches and things. It wasn't this wasn't exactly a well thought through plan. They didn't exactly know how much stuff was being fueled by the mines. But you're welcomed up onto the pad, and he says he just kind of claps a hand on your arm, Duncan, which kind of hurts because half his hand is stone. And it just says, you and your compatriots have done some tremendous work here, and you're already heroes of Sprangbrekh. I hope you get your princess back.
Thank you for your well wishes. I will endeavor to make it so. Rule well, friend.
Thank you. I intend to. And he waves to the Miles O'Brien of this room, who's different from the Miles O'Brien of the other room. This one's spelled
Moyles O'Brien.
Moyles O'Brien. Moyles O'Brien sort of looks back and like touches the pad. The runes begin to light up in a circle, and Richard just kind of smiles at you and waves. And as he does so, you notice that the tips of his stone fingers are flesh. And he kind of looks at those and goes, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's new. At which point you hear a scream from the president's office, and the teleporter whisks you away deep into the mines. You appear in a central nexus of the mines. It is dark down here, so I'm curious about what light sources you all have. A question I ask maybe twice per campaign in D&D.
I have dark vision. I have no need of light.
Great.
I have a hooded lantern.
Excellent.
I'll bust that motherfucker out.
I have torches and some magic if needs be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna go full Groot on this and just release like light spores.
I'd like to, but I don't actually have
that slot.
Well, it's just It sounds like I can do that, but I cannot mechanically do that.
I understand. So we'll say that your spores do light up in a bioluminescent way, but only in the way that like putting cool glow in the dark paint on something makes it like glow a bit, but not actually cast light.
Yeah, you can see the stars your dad glued to the roof of your room, but it doesn't actually help you find the door.
Yeah, exactly. It just shows you where the North Star could be in a weird smiley face pattern.
Lets you feel your father's love. That's what it does.
Yep. So the three of you find yourselves in a dark room, or a like shades of gray room if you're Ida. Duncan, you reach for your lantern and light it. That said, you did just hear a scream before you came down here. What is your immediate reaction to that? And what is your plan in the mine?
Well, we saw a scream, but we saw somebody come back. I mean, could Nagata have come back to life? Could hope for the best.
We cannot return the way we came. The teleporters appear to be one way.
That is true.
Find out what happened in the president's office when we return with Gwendolyn. Yes.
Yes, we've traveled up before. We know what's up there. Anywhere else that we'd explore, if Gwendolyn's falling, she did end up deep in a mine when she'd started above the surface. If she keeps falling, perhaps we need to go down. I think we need to know what's in the heart of this place.
I think Karen brought Gwendolyn here. It only makes sense that she would be here if Karen were here also.
Correct.
Karen
set out to find her.
I do not think Gwendolyn died that day on the battlefield. I believe she was dormant in the armor.
Oh, damn it. Was she inside the fish?
The fish disappeared from the armor plate. Yes.
I'm going to kill Karen. Do you know what? I need to... or I'll put her in something really embarrassing and throw her in an ocean. There's options. But we're going to find her. I'm going to shove her in a cod piece and throw her in a lake.
That's very funny. That's a very good pun in a number of ways.
Beautiful.
Okay, so with your light up, you begin to venture down into the mines. Now, the good news is, despite how vast, and again, the ant, like an ant colony, really is the best way to think about this in terms of how kind of twisting and modular everything is. But the good news is that, as you determined earlier, generally everything slopes down, and when it slopes down, it is actually descending. It's not like one of those horrible, like, well, we went down for 50 feet and then we went back up and now we turned left, so like maybe we're in hell. It does seem to craft down, which makes sense given the amount of stone shapers that operate here. There would be absolutely no fucking reason to just accept whatever the stone situation was down here.
Yeah.
These will be the most logical mines in the history of mines.
Honestly, yes. They are like, you start to make your way down. It's almost like navigating a hospital where you're like, this is pretty vast. You're like, actually, the signage is pretty solid. Like, I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know when the next sign will be, but there are enough that I'm kind of getting bumped along in the right direction. So you begin to descend. So we haven't done like a dungeon delve really with this party. What is your kind of what do you think your marching order is, and kind of what is the state of the party right now? Like what are we looking at?
Ita, you can see in the dark, correct? Are you stealthy in any way?
I am check stat. A little bit stealthy. Not it is not my strong suit, but not my weak either.
Cannot believe I'm going to do this. But based on the kind of character you are, Ida, I 100% believe you would have given yourself a numeric rank in how skilled you are in stealth. I think you can, in character, literally just tell them what your stat is.
You're the only person who can say what it is relative to 0.
I would say relative to 0, perhaps a 2.
All right, well,
I do not know what the maximum is, so it is a bit confusing, but...
Well, from what I've seen of you, I think I'm about 3 times as good at stealth as you are. However...
Son of a bitch.
I'm down here. I'm blind. So I either am a very sneaky man carrying a very obvious lamp, or it's up to you. Dare we have you scout in advance, or should we go through with a glowing turtle and a man with a lamp?
I believe it would be logical to be as quiet and as unobtrusive and inconspicuous as possible. So perhaps I go first and we move in darkness.
All right, we'll let you range ahead and come back, and you can guide us.
Ryan, can you roll me an insight check? Given how much I can hear the hesitation and fear in your voice of letting Ida scout this.
Oh, yeah, that's a good old-fashioned 4.
The idea the DM had for you no longer exists. It's gone. He won't tell you. You realize nothing. I think there's something tickling at the edge of your mind, but also there's something about being super anxious about this meeting and then having the meeting, like you've been just like, we need to get to the mines. We need to get to the mines. We need to get to the mines. Now you're in the mines. It's like, fuck, we're in the mines.
On my tour, I saw that like big horn thing, right? Getting hit. No, Gwendolyn saw that.
Gwendolyn saw
Fuck.
that. Yes.
I have to I have to organize my note.
Oh,
I did this when I had Alan and Juniper and be like, note for Alan, note for Juniper.
No,
So keep it
it's
straight.
all,
I'm like,
but also
I
like,
don't know who saw that.
realistically, I guess there was that one sequence, but like realistically, it's very rare that like Alan and Juniper would both be taking a tour of the same facility in different places. So no, this is a complete mindfuck. Don't worry about it. But no, unfortunately, you saw what you were told was the armory, but wasn't.
Yes.
You saw the slaughter floor.
The slaughter.
That's
That's what I saw. Yes.
And you saw the records room.
Yeah. Okay.
Makka and no worries. Makka and Duncan did legitimately see part of the armory. Jeanette's laboratory or workshop rather, and also one of the bonding sites where all of the future demon knights were kind of like suspended, enchanting to kind of try and bond with their armor. So those are the main sites we've seen in the mines thus far, plus the abandoned space that you fell into. That was part of the old mines. Cool. Okay, great.
So I guess the answer is you'll go ahead. We'll keep this lamp dim. I don't want to be entirely blind back here in case something comes from, behind us. And then we'll just hope that no dwarf stabs you if they find you or something. And if you get attacked, you can always yell what's attacking you. Dwarf, demon, let us know. I go with dwarf, though, because I feel like if you yell demon knight, I'm worried about the pronunciation.
You will... I'm sorry, you're concerned about the difference between demon and demon knight?
Yeah, if you were to yell that down an echoing
Why didn't
hallway,
I just yell knight?
Oh, fuck you, just go.
It seems logical, but okay.
You mutter to yourself as you continue to wander down the hall. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, please, Laura.
At my +2. 18.
Christ.
There we
Good work. Okay. So you begin to stealthily make your way down the hallway, and admittedly, like sneaking past guards and things, not in your wheelhouse. Moving silently through a library so as not to piss off other people in diligent study, your fucking jam. So you're doing that kind of like trying to move around your house at night and not wake your parents up thing. And it's working pretty well. You make your way ahead, and suddenly you begin to hear just kind of a little ways ahead of you. You're away from the party now, so you're on your own.
Yeah.
You hear a dragging and scraping sound, and a voice just saying, "Help! Help!"
Does it sound like a dwarvish voice?
Sounds sort of. A little weird though.
Okay.
The spookiest answer. Sort of.
Sort of. I will proceed cautiously forward.
Okay. As you edge forward, you see a demon knight dragging like a chipped axe and limping somewhat, kind of feeling along the wall with one arm, but kind of moving awkwardly as though they're similar to what you've seen some of the other people who've begun to gray moving. This what's strange is this dwarf seems to have is clean shaven aside from an incredibly like twirly mustache, like just full on like pencil, like comes to a pencil point and then like up into the like Salvador Dali level twist, and shaved bald head, and is just walking along, kind of tapping the wall, calling for help.
Okay, I'm not in danger, so I'm not going to call out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going. I just got to turn around and let the guys know what happened.
Sure. So you slink back to the party,
yeah,
and fill them in on what you saw.
There is a injured, perhaps a demon knight back there, asking for someone to help. I believe we should help. No. He seems quite lost and incapable of.
I don't disagree with this idea. I'm thinking the smartest approach, Makka, you're the toughest of us. Perhaps you take the lamp and you can advance to say hello. And then we can stay in the shadows. And if anything goes wrong, Mr. Bang will have your back, he says as he just like twirls the two-barreled pistol out of its holster up.
That is good. I am slightly concerned that this is someone who is ordered to let me die.
I will investigate the demon knight. Yes. Yes. Which way, Ita? Which way is he?
That way. I pointed the direction I came from.
And I start marching down that tunnel.
Yeah, Duncan will give him the lantern so he can see.
Cool. And Makka, you're not moving subtly. You're just like going
just walking. Yeah.
So as you begin to make your way forward, also there's something just truly charming about a turtle holding a lantern out in front of them. I just like it. Just a nice image. In my head, it's just kind of the Tonberry from Final Fantasy, just like wandering around. But anyway, you're making your way down, and as you approach, the Demon Knight kind of stops, and seeing the light kind of casting, starts awkwardly turning and says, "Well, hi there, sport. I gotta tell you, this is a pretty good thing for my eyes to see. You're a sight for sore eyes, I'll tell you that, champ. Tell you that for a nickel."
Have injured your eyes, yes?
Yes. Yeah, well, no, I can see just fine. It's just awful dark down here.
Are you?
And it would seem that part of me is still frozen up like it's been.
Are you alone, Demon Knight?
Last I checked, yeah, I'm trying to find the rest of my unit, the rest of the people I know from Sprangbrekh. Tell me, you seen anyone else down here? Last I remember, I was turning a bit gray, turning a bit stony, if you get my drift.
You are from elsewhere? Yes?
No, from the fine fortress of Sprangbrekh.
Duncan will step out of the background and holster his pistol and go, I knew it. He's from a long time ago. And he's come back, so he knows it. That must be an old-timey dwarf accent.
I don't know what you're talking about there, champ. But, you're a tall-looking fella, aren't you?
The president awoke. All of the grayed-out knights and other people have awoken. They're no longer trapped.
Duncan, you are versed in ancient dwarven, yes?
That is true. They did say that I knew an older version of their dialect. Let me see if I can talk to him on his own level. Hey, it's good to see ya.
Oh, hey, there's someone who knows what color the sky is, what way the wind is blowing, what color the grass is. I haven't seen the sky or the grass, but I understand a man who understands that. And that would seem to be you there, champ.
Well, snap my suspenders. It's nice to be here. What year
Finally,
were you
someone
from?
talks normal, unlike these couple of knuckleheads.
Hey, they can't help themselves. They're doing the best they can, but they're not good enough.
That's good. I'm glad you understand a couple of Poindexters when you see them. I understand that too.
That's a real knee slapper.
Yeah, truly. It's fun to party all the time. What can I say? Just like a good old Gatsby party, do I?
All right, so
Art
we got to get
Deco.
down to the middle of the mine, the middle of the sandwich. We got to get down, take a nice old footsie floory down onto the middle. So
I understand you already ate
mine?
you already ate the olive and you're working your way through the bread, but you want to get to that tasty meat spread.
Yeah, we need your mine ham. Now, can you help us find the middle?
Surely I can. Perhaps we'll find a few of my friends along the way. Oh, it's so good to finally speak to someone who understands the language.
Oh, you're the jam to my peanut butter. Let's go for a walk.
And the two of you start making your way. As he's walking, you can see the gray is starting to recede on him. And he says, I got to tell you there, champ. I know we've just been friends for a couple of minutes here, but I was pretty sure I'd never speak to another living soul. I've been thinking these loud thoughts for quite some time, and I was quite surprised to hear them coming out of my mouth.
So, how did you end up graying out? Like, was the gray something that was always around for your folks? Or is this something
absolutely.
new for
I
this
turned
new
30.
generation?
Happens to the best of us.
The 30s?
I turned 30, yep. It's about how long we live down here. You turn 30, you turn gray. That's the way it's always been. Ha-ha.
Always. So what year were you born in? Right now, it's the aughts, or the 80s, or the 90s.
The aughts? Well, that was 20 years ago.
Uh-oh.
19 aughts.
And he turns to the others, he's like, I think it's been 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Or a century, something like that.
Oh, Christ. Oh, that's a guy I knew. I wonder what's happened to him. Well, I've been thinking these thoughts for a long time there, buddy fella. I got to tell you, it's pretty nice to speak them out loud. It's getting awful lonely inside my old noggin.
And Duncan just looks to Makka, and Makka, you could see in the lantern light that there are just tears in Duncan's eyes, and he's like, it's just such a beautiful language.
This dwarf, who we'll just name Gatsby for ease of use, Gifford Gatsby,
Nice.
Was a strapping young buck when he reached 30, but much like all dwarves of Sprangbrekh, he understood that it was time, and that was that. But what he didn't expect was to continue to think. He says, we all just thought you died when you turned gray. Turns out, not the case. I've been keeping myself going by repeating old sports scores from old stickball, a game we used to play up top. We'd use a hog ball.
And so it is an inversion of the natural way of things, where the consciousness should leave the body, and the body should be returned to the earth. Your body, your consciousness remained, and your body remained as well.
That's right, fella. All the vitality just flew right out of us, but the old dog kept ticking.
That must have been truly maddening.
Luckily, I paid a lot of attention to stickball, so I had a lot of games to think through. But gotta tell you, it is pretty nice to talk about anything that isn't those right now.
Does this dwarf have weapons, Tom?
He's got a chipped axe.
So,
and he's wearing Demon Knight armor, but it is like old Demon Knight armor. It's if we're talking, this is so dumb. If we're talking Iron Man suits, if Gwendolyn's suit is the Mark 1, he's probably wearing like the Mark 5. So it's definitely not like Necrotis it's not the same kinds of armor that would be, and again, like not Iron Man in the way that it's like a big bulky piece of garbage, but in the way that Gwendolyn's armor is very, very basic Knight's armor. It's a little bit better tooled than that, but it's not at like the Age of Sigmar.
Oh, so it's like
armor that they're currently wearing in
the end of Skyrim, not Warcraft.
Yes, they haven't reached Warcraft. They're that's a good way of putting it. They're like midway through an RPG game. Everything's a little bit better, but it could be cooler.
All right. What Duncan looking at this axe, does it look like this axe will actually hold up? Basically, Duncan's trying to figure out whether or not he should give him his daggers to like arm him with something sharp and current.
That's a good question. Yeah, it looks like it's fine. Also, realistically, if this guy fights with a two-handed axe, giving him daggers isn't like, you can do it, but he's probably better with a bad axe than he is with good daggers, if that makes any sense.
That is valid. All right. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to speak this language just because my friends can understand it.
Oh, that's all right, fella.
Can you help us get to the center of this mine? We have a friend who's floating around in spirit and an enemy who's floating around as a ghost. We need to trap them inside armor where the one belongs and the other can die.
Oh, well, that seems like quite a dilemma there, pal. Let me ask, though, does your friend that we like, do they like the giggle juice? Do they like to party down? Cut loose to a flapper dance? Oh, good. In that case, they're okay in my book, champ. This is one thing we like in Sprangbrekh. Yeah, it's a good time. Come on. And he proceeds to lead you into the heart of the mine, which is unfortunate because the heart of the mine for him is 2 rooms later. Or he's like, here we are. Oh, wow. Again, my buddy Christ would have been really shocked by all this. Look at all these other weird passages. I guess they've been busy since I turned gray. Unfortunately, his bewilderment is not your only issue, as you hear a sort of cacophony of screams echoing through the caverns. And out of the darkness, 3 demon knights charge you with blades up, just screaming incomprehensibly. Roll for initiative, please.
Ooh, 20 total.
Ooh,
Nice.
That is good.
12 for Makka.
Less good, but still
16
nice.
for Duncan.
Okay, so 12, 16, and 20. 20 for Ita, 16 for Duncan, 12 for Makka?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And they got... All right. Sorry, folks. Just doing real-time DM writing. Okay. Ita, you're up first. For sort of like half-grade demon knights, all wearing mismatched armor. Again, if we're looking at eras, all of them seem to be from different eras, but they come out just screaming, weapons held high, and seem to just be like running at the party with weapons up. What do you do?
Yes. I do not want to fight them. I think I will have to.
Laura, one thing I just want to flag for you. You can do non-lethal if you so desire. So if I think just as a blanket statement that might make this a bit easier, if the goal with the sort of confused, slowly degraying demon knights is not to kill them, just go ahead and roll your attacks as you normally would, with the understanding that this is very much like Batman beating people up, not like I cut his head off non-lethally. It's just like I'm gonna like subdue them as much as need be so that I can continue on my way.
Right.
And given that they're still partially gray, I think we can safely assume that might just mean like I kick out their leg and punch them in the head, and they're just kind of on their back being like, I'll get you.
Yeah. Okay, I think I will try. Sorry, I will try a disorienting theorem.
Okay, great.
The thing is that, I think I can only do this to one person, one of them at a time, which is annoying. But I will.
There are 3 of them. There are technically 4 of you, so actually you do have superior numbers.
Yeah,
for once.
That's true. That's true. In that case, you know what? Let's go with a disarming theorem. So I will. The Fibonacci sequence hasn't been working for me lately, so I'm just going to target the one that's in front, whoever that is.
Sequence hasn't been working.
It hasn't, so I'm just going to start reciting the prime numbers in order to try to just like distract and calm it and charm it.
Okay, go for it.
So it has to make a wisdom saving throw. So I just start going 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. This is like lulling me to sleep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I might pay you to just record that, and then I can cancel my Headspace subscription. Just listen to that. What is your DC?
14.
I rolled a 4, so like I didn't really need it, but I just wanted you to be able to say how cool you are. As you start listing prime numbers, the one in the front, who's a classic sword and board, but unfortunately the sword arm is still frozen, but the shield arm is good, is like rushing forward. And as you begin to recite the prime numbers, you see her kind of slow her pace a bit and start to speak them with you. And she just kind of sinks to her knees and drops the sword. And it's almost like each one is a sigh. Like each number is a breath of fresh air. As she just continues to say them with you, and with like tears rolling down her cheeks.
Aww.
She is successfully charmed, if you didn't get that from the beautiful description.
That's great. That's
right.
Beautiful.
There you go, Math Twitter. I threw you a fucking bone. Get off my dick. All right, so
in his ongoing one-sided rivalry with Math.
yeah, look, I'm just an old man who yells at Cloud. All right, that Cloud's got to pay. Okay, cool. So so that brings us to the Grey Demon Knights. So 2 of them are still up. They pay no attention to their companion. They aren't really paying any attention to each other. They just seem to be in a frenzy. So one of them rushes, I think, I'm going to say, since you're kind of engaged with that other target, Ita, that instead they're going to charge either Duncan or Makka. Which of you would have been up ahead? Duncan, I assume? Makka. Makka's kind of the tank. I don't know.
I think Makka would have been following behind, because he can't see and he's not stealthy, so he would have just been following behind the. So then
Duncan it is. The dwarf
I meant he'd be falling behind the dwarf as in like he'd be in front. Sorry, I didn't mean Duncan should get hit. I didn't mean it like that.
It was pretty good. It was kind of like, I like Makka. I like Duncan too, but like I don't play him. So could Duncan go first? It's like when you don't have a rogue in the party and you're just like, who's the player we like the least? You go first. Make sure to step real heavy on all the tiles. So if you're up front then, and Duncan, would you agree with that? Or...
Yeah, I don't think Duncan would take the lead on this. He's probably better as a counter puncher if we're walking along with a lamp than anything else.
All right, so the next one runs up, and he's wearing, for lack of a better term, like the Juggernaut equivalent of armor. So he's got like big armbands, big like metal, like not brass knuckles, but like plates over his fists, and his torso and neck are frozen, but his arms and legs are free. So it's a little bit like Michael Keaton Batman running at you, but with Juggernaut arms. He as he rushes in, he just yells, "Fist bombs!" And goes to throw two punches at you. What's your AC, sir?
19.
Okay, so one will hit. That will be 10 points of damage. As you're just soundly fucking socked in the chest by a massive beefy fist. That said, the face of the gray demon knight who charged you, though still like manic and frenzied, doesn't seem content having hit you, but more so just like confused and enraged, and just yells, "Fist bombs!" And just like taps your chest a few more times, like in like consternation. And the other one running in behind is someone wearing what actually looks like weirdly the light armor equivalent of Demon Knight armor. It's honestly, Duncan, it's closer to what you would wear. It seems to give them a bit more range of motion, and they're very slim, and kind of wearing like a robe over their armor, a little bit like when Obi-Wan wears clone armor, and he just has his like robe kind of open over it. This one kind of like stumbles forward, and she just says, "For love of stone," and jams her hands into the ground, and suddenly the stone beneath you begins to soften, and spikes shoot up out of the ground. So Duncan, Makka, and Ida, I need all three of you to please roll me a dex save.
Dear.
As will Gifford Gatsby. Oh, damn. So Makka, I feel like a dex save for you is actually...
Nat 20. Whoa!
That one.
Honestly, that's a pretty fucking cool spread. I'm proud of all of us. Gatsby rolled an 11. So like most of us. I'm proud of most of us. You know, in my day, champ, an 11 was a 20. It was as high as we go. We hadn't invented more numbers yet. So spikes shoot up out of the ground. Makka, I like to imagine that your dodging of these things is like if you've seen like a kendo master or like any kind of like martial artist who just like doesn't dodge but just steps just enough out of the way of the thing.
I think it's very conservative movement. There are no flourishes. It is just putting my body where it needs to be.
Yeah, like like 3 centimeters right of here is enough, and just like, you know, you feel the breeze of it pass your face. Yeah. Whereas Duncan, I imagine you're pretty flourishy.
Yeah, I think Duncan ends up like almost doing a running backflip off of Makka. Like it's just run forwards, run up the shell. In the air, he flips, and he almost just holds like a perfect dive as from the side you see the spikes go up and just stop like a quarter inch below his like perfectly lateral frame. And then he comes down as they go back into the floor.
It's a full-on like Michael Bay Transformer leaping through a thing where it's somehow perfectly aligned. You can't make any sense of what the object is, but eventually it'll be a car or a human. I don't know.
Makka walks over to where Duncan lands.
You can't because you're engaged with.
That's right.
Juggernaut.
Yes, you're right.
Fist bumps.
But okay, cool. So both of you who passed will take 6 points of damage. Ita, you will take 13.
And I will use an uncanny dodge.
Of course.
Because I feel like we're going to get hit a lot, so I got to hang on to the HP early.
I was staring at you guys like you were supposed to do something. I have to tell you who's next. Duncan, you're up.
Well,
You
the one
land.
thing...
10-10. Russian judge gives you a 3, but like he's on the tick, so you're fine.
Yeah. And
Ooh.
I look over at the Chinese team who are clearly underage, but we're cleared anyways due to shady laws. No.
I miss the Olympics. Anyway, on we go.
Yeah, the moment he hits the ground, the one thing he's learned is he hates wizards, and wizards are soft. So he immediately rolls forwards, reaches for his weapons, but instead of the usual like crossbody pull that would get the sword out, his hand goes the reverse way. So he draws out the bone rapier, but instead the blade's down his forearm, and he's just got it as like a fist. And he draws a dagger in the other one for flavor. I'm not going to use it as a weapon, but it's just to weight his fist, so he's not hitting like he's not playing fisticuffs with people in armor. He could really ring their bell. So he's going to take
election, right?
Yeah. So like rolling forwards, and then he's in full weird like Batman blade arm defense. And I think it's just one of those where he's going to like pop her twice, which will roll as one anyway. It's going to be the first attack. It'll be like 2 quick jabs. And then he's just going for a full big right cross with the rapier. He feels bad about it, but he needs her to be asleep. So the first hit is a 23.
Yes.
Great. And the second hit is a 21.
Also, yes.
All right. So, yeah, I think he was expecting more, but it is a wizard. So it's just like bam, right in the face, bam, right in the face. Just hits again, and he's starting to feel almost bad. The damage
You look back, and Ida is just like fully impaled on like stone spikes, like in midair. You're like, I feel bad. This person's harmless. She's like bleeding to death in the sky.
I mean, I feel bad about that, but I'm also aware that these are people driven insane by being trapped as statues for centuries. So it's hard to feel really glorious about.
Yeah, no, I get it. And again, you're not stabbing. You're just going for the knockout. So 6 damage on the first one and 8 on the second for a grand total of 14. 14. All right. So you clock her a few times. She seems less hurt, more confused. With each strike. She's clearly dazed, but still standing. Kind of like a boxer who should tap out, but isn't going to.
And I just yell like, we're not demons! Team up, team up! There's a dwarf on our side!
Bring us to Gatsby. And Gatsby's like, listen there, champ, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I gotta tell you, I would have lost my marbles myself if I wasn't thinking of all those sweet, sweet stickball games. I'm going to tell you, not everyone paid as much attention to the stats in the sports as I did. As a result, I think it's time that we put these folks to sleep until we can find them the help they need. All right, champ, sorry to do this to you, but you look like young whippersnappers, and I bet you don't even know how to make a cocktail. Goodbye. And he just goes and cold cocks the wizard with the haft of his axe. I rolled a 1 like Ida. So he does that, and the axe just shatters against her head. He's like,
oh no, buddy.
Oh no. Right, I forgot. These things have a shelf life. It seems I don't. Haha, that's nice. Anyway, this thing's a piece of shit. Sure wish I had some daggers. Bringing us to Makka.
Makka's taken a little bit of a beating, actually. That was a big hit, 10 damage.
He's the juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah. So Makka will activate his symbiotic entity. It's an action. And so he just kind of bulks up in this way and looks a little bit more menacing. And for a bonus action, he will cast Shillelagh. And so his club becomes all spiky and menacing as well. And for anyone watching, Makka looks like he's going to kill this person in front of him. It does not look like he's going to spare them.
That tracks with everything we know about Makka.
That is spending my turn. He's basically going to give this guy the death he's long overdue for.
I fully understand. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Top of the round, Ita.
I suppose. So we still, all three of them are still up, right?
No, the one that you used your theorem on is just is continuing on with the numbers, even after you stopped by getting pierced by things.
Okay.
She is, for our purposes, out of combat because you've given her mind something to focus on, and she's using it to kind of
that's nice.
Keep it together and kind of calm herself.
Oh, that's lovely. Then let's do something a little different and assault the mind of that wizard person.
Great.
Because I don't like all the pain. So I think this will just be so this is Confounding Theorem, which is like basically assaulting their mind with like a potent word. And I think I will just say forever, because I think they just fear staying like that, like they've always been forever. So that is, they have to make an intelligence saving throw of DC 14.
Well, I rolled a 2 and I get -3. So I think you're good.
So that will be, they will take 12 psychic damage now.
You see her just kind of stumble a step back and just say like, forever like the stone. Stone is forever, but stone does not think. We think. Stone can move. We cannot move. Forever like the stone. And she plunges her hands through the stone into the ground as she kind of falls to her knees. And as it begins to move, she just looks up and makes direct eye contact with you, and a relieved smile moves across her face as she begins to kind of like move her arms around within the stone. Unlike the other stone shapers you've seen, this lady seems like fucking next level. Like she doesn't need to warm it up or concentrate that much. It's just like reaching into mud for her. And she just says, look, malleable, not forever. And she sighs with relief as the floor beneath all of you becomes liquid. And collectively, you are all sucked down into the stone. Makka with his club raised high, Duncan with his blades out, Gatsby looking crankily at his axe, and the three opponents, all of you are sucked into the very stone itself.
This episode of Curse Code and Crowd Sound was mixed and edited by Laura Hamstra, and the campaign was created by Tom McGee. Our original theme music was composed by Landon Knoblock, and Curse Code and Crown's logo was created by the brilliant Decapitated Markers. If you want to follow our players or our DM on Twitter, you can reach out to Laura at EL Hamstring, Ryan at the Ryan LaPlante, Tyler at Tyler_Hewitt, Tom McGee at McGeeTD, or you can message our whole company at Dum Dum Dice. So please join us again for more Curse, Code, and Crown!
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.